Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. It is Friday, October 27th, 2023, man. I'm your guy, Scott, your host. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarberChairScott. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network at BarbersChairNet on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/BarbersChair Network. I'm going to make an announcement about that in a minute after the sound off if you missed the announcement earlier today. But we got a pretty I won't say random show, but kind of a random show because Mikey and Bang are both on the Barber's Chair IR right now, so they will both be back next week. We did have a guest today. Big Wild is supposed to join us. He's also sick, so he'll be joining us sometime next week. So I had to shuffle the show around a little bit. So we've got the homie Pavy who will be joining us in just a minute to talk NBA in the first hour. Courtney will be here to talk about the MLB. We're going to be previewing game 1 of the World Series, which she will be at tonight, which is why she'll only join us for 30 minutes today. And then in the second hour, we got my brother, co-host of 79th and Hollis, co-founder of the Barber's Chair Network, Flows. He'll be joining us for all of our NFL talk in the second hour. We're supposed to debut the Cousin Dan segment today. We're going to debut that next Friday. I wanted to have the whole crew on before I introduced him to y'all, so we're going to have him debut next Friday, November 3rd on the show, man. So we're going to kick off with my sound off before I bring in the rest of the team for today's episode, man. I want to start off with load management. It's like we only like a couple, really 2 days into the NBA, and we already got to deal with this load management shit. I know I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. It is what it is, but as a fan, the 1 week that I'm super hype about the NBA, which is the opening week for all these big matchups you got. And we got to deal with, Bradley Beal's not going to play the first game. Bradley Beal's not going to play the second game. Devin Booker's not going to play the second game. Luka ended up playing on Wednesday, but that shit definitely went up to the damn wire. And to me, it's the point, like, we're already dealing with this 2 games in. This is going to be something we have to go through all season. I think this is the point in the NBA where I think it's no debate. This is the most talent that this league has ever had in 1 year. And I'm one time ever. Like, you can talk about 80s, 90s, whatever you want to talk about. This is the most individual talent this league has ever seen. But why does it matter if we only get to see these players play every couple times a week? And so I'm getting tired of that as a fan. I wish there was a way we could fix this. Now, maybe I'm overreacting. It's only been 2 games, and maybe Bradley Beal really is hurt. I saw the nigga playing preseason. Maybe he really is hurt. I didn't get the Devin Booker thing more than anything. You got LeBron James, who's in year 21. He's out there going full speed, played a whole fourth quarter last night. Y'all letting this old dude beat y'all and play more minutes, y'all? That's the type of shit that I just don't want to see as a fan, man. But I digress. That's my sound off. Now let's bring in Dante and Pav, man. They're going to be joining me here today. What's going on, fellas?
Chilling, bro. What's the word?
Wally's boy. Wally's boy. What's up, man?
Fishbowl.
Fishbowl wine glass.
Man had the big boy.
Drinking the Beaujolais out the fishbowl. What's good, bro? What's good, Wally's boy? What's good, man? Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody wishing me happy birthday yesterday. I did have a great time. Shout out my guy Pav. And he's calling me Wally's boy. It's the king of Wally's over here.
Oh, man.
The president. Nothing happened. The nigga came to the table and said, Pavy, ain't seen you in a long time. So shout out my guy Pav. Shout out to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I wasn't able to get to all y'all, but I do appreciate it for all the birthday love. Man, I'm 35 and it feels good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a big birthday dude, but I was talking to Mike. He was also like, yo, a lot of people from where we from don't make it to this age. I wanted to, I wanted to live it out. So I appreciate I appreciate my guy Pav, all my friends, my family. Help me have a great day. So yeah, I did have to, live it up a little bit. So I appreciate everybody, man. We are 2 days to the NBA season. Let's just get right into it, man. Victor Wembanyama, debut, 19 points. I think he had like 5 rebounds. I don't have the exact stat in front of me. It was a long night, so forgive me on the actual stats. But What is some of y'all like initial thoughts? Were you able to actually watch it? I know me and Pat at the Clippers game, but I did have the game up in the press box while it was going on. What are some of you guys like initial thoughts to what you've seen from Wemby so far?
I mean, I think he's, as advertised, it was just unfortunate he got in foul trouble. The game, it was fluid. I think there was never a point where he ever really looked lost. I think, offensively, he really got knocked off his rhythm because he got in the foul trouble and had to sit down. But you see in that fourth quarter, when I think they put him in when there was about like 7 minutes left, like he really turned up for the rest of the game. And so, the things we talked about on defense, we saw that, at the end of the game, he was guarding Kyrie, the last few possessions, you feel me? So him being that type of player that you can put on somebody, best offensive weapon, I'll say a little bit, of course. But just, I think so far it was as advertised. And, it's I think it's only 2 games in, but as he continues to get more comfortable and continues to get into the flow of the NBA game, I think we're going to see him really take off.
Yeah, so like Scott mentioned, we were both at the Clippers game. So I didn't get a chance to say that. By the way, I want to say this. I thought the Blazers were going to be good. They're going to be one of the worst teams in basketball. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the National Basketball Association. But Wemby, again, I saw highlights. I mean, like Dante said, he was as advertised. Like he played good. He just looks fluid out there on the court. Defensively, he's the man 7, what, 4, 5, 7, whatever he is, and he's mobile. His jump shot looks fluid. You pretty much can't contest it at all. And I think the biggest thing with him is the other people on the team got to get out his way.
Yeah.
Like everybody else got to be like, bro, like here's the ball. Like I know most bigs, you got to do a thing with them, whereas you get them the ball. But Wemby, I mean, with his play style, with the things that he can do, you don't have to actually get him the ball. You can just give him the ball 26 feet away, as it seems, and he can make things happen. So, yeah, Wemby was as advertised to me.
Yeah, man. From what I saw, first of all, I got to Staples Center way too early. I did that last year. I'm gonna stop doing this really because they kind of changed like rules up on media. Like we can't be actually on the court anymore. Like we can be like behind the scenes, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. I'm not here to rant about that. So I'm not gonna be coming as early anymore. But I came super early to the game, and so I watched both games that was going on ESPN. And from what I saw from Wemby, man, I've been saying this through the preseason. I think he's gonna live up to the hype, and I don't think it's an overreaction. I think the number one thing that I saw is he's got to stay out of foul trouble, which I think, as the season goes on, he'll learn to adjust to how the officials call the games, and he's the next future superstar of this league. So he's not going to get like, superstar calls yet. I still think he probably a couple years away from, getting the superstar call. But I liked what I saw. He looked very prepared. He didn't look like the game was ahead of him. He didn't look like he was lost. I think, like you just said, Pav, it's about the teammates getting him the basketball. It kind of felt a little bit like during LeBron's rookie year where you had guys like Carlos Boozer and them thinking that, oh, well, he's here to help us. Like, no, nigga, y'all here to help him. Like, this is not that. This is a different kind of dude. And I think just the atmosphere you saw there. Well, I haven't seen that many people at a Spurs game maybe since, the 2014 finals? Like, it's been a long time since you had that kind of hype. And the Spurs actually look like one of those exciting league pass teams. I don't think they're going to be making the play-in or anything like that. But I do think that this gives them something to actually watch. And Wemby looks his advertisement. I think defensively, his first play was a block. Pav talked about that on Monday. Somebody's defensive prowess. So I think it was as good as it probably could have went for a rookie. And I think that this is going to be something to watch the rest of the year. And I think that even overshadowed just how great of a game Luka had. Because of Wemby's presence and just how everybody was real focused on him, and I think it was a good first game showing for him.
Yeah, G, and I agree with what y'all said because there was moments in that game where I was like, why are y'all not just giving this nigga the rock?
Yeah,
like it was a lot of people just putting shots up, and don't get me wrong, they do have some nice young players on their team, but at the same time, I think it's gonna take some time, but people gonna finally realize, no, he really is the guy that they told us he was, and like we need to play off of him. And like he has the talent to take them to that, to that level. So once they get that in their brain, I'm sure I do like the Pop really just let them play. Like
it's hard to do though. Like you can't. Yeah. Like he's a guy where like number one, like he's so different than what you would. Like, even me, like I'm like, oh well, you 7'5", you should be on the block. You should be more in the paint. I mean, he got other skills. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of just gotta like let him roam and find out what he. I think even I saw Mike Brown talk about this on the All the Smoke podcast. He was talking about when Braun went off for those 22 points against the Pistons in the conference finals. He was like, sometimes the best coaching is no coaching. Sometimes you got to give some like when you have a special player, give him the ball and see what happens. And then you as a coach, okay, I saw this. He does this well. He does this well. He does this well. And just react to him. I think at some point in times, you know, this is throughout all sports. I think coaches try to react to players. And there's some situations where you got to give a man the ball and just let him do what he does. And you react to him. And I think Wemby is one of those players where you got to give him the ball and just you react to him. Okay, he do this well. Well, all right, we got to put him on these positions. He don't do this well. Well, all right, let's not do this. So, and again, like you said, they not trying to make the finals this year. It's obviously a long game thing with him. You think this is the guy you can build up on for the next, hopefully 15, 20 years of your franchise. So, you know, 1 year doesn't make or break you. Like you're not trying to make the finals this year. I do think the Spurs have pieces like Devin Vassell is a guy who I think could be a 20-point scorer this year. Jeremy Scohan, I think it's Scohan. If I pronounce the name wrong, I'm sorry. He's a good piece. Keldon Johnson's a good piece. Like they do have really, really good pieces. But yeah, you got to just give him the ball and just figure out what he does best.
Definitely, man. And also I think what you said, it's going to be about the other teammates trying to learn how to play with him, and that's going to come in time. And the best thing about Wemby, he's in the perfect situation because you got Greg Popovich. You know what I'm saying? Like you got him, and he's going to be able to groom him because he knows what it's like to have those younger talents who have like superstar talent with him. Like he dealt with it with Tim Duncan. He dealt with it with Kawhi Leonard. Even though Kawhi didn't come in with this hype, obviously Kawhi was more groomed in the Spurs system, but he knows how to do these type of things. And I think what's also great for Pop is I think Wemby kind of gives him like a new fresh air when it comes to coaching. You know, we know of like all the personal stuff that Pop has been through lately. He kind of felt like he didn't want to coach anymore. This is going to be something new for him, and you're going to get the best version of Pop, which is going to help Wemby out long term, man. So definitely interested to see how that's going to play out for the rest of the season. Last night, we had the debut of Dame Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not calling those niggas freak show. Okay, that's not going to be called on this show.
Terrible.
That the NBA needs to find a new name. I'm sorry, y'all need to come up with
a freak show. Ain't bad. Freak
show. Nah, man, it's too grown ass man.
Freak show, freak time, none of that, bro.
No. Actually, they call them freak time.
Yeah, freak time.
That's not it. Freak time. Yeah, that's not it, dog. That's not it, dog. NBA need to find something else, dog. But first game against the Philadelphia 76ers, and we will get into that message of James Harden in a minute. They won 118-117. Giannis had 23 points, 13 rebounds, kind of like a real, okay night for Giannis. But Dame Lillard, man, showed up. 39 points, went 4-12 from 3-point, 9-20 from the field, man. He showed exactly what he is trying to bring to this team. Had 11 points in the fourth quarter. This is a time even where they jagged the 19-point lead. The Sixers came back, cut it down to single digits, eventually taking the lead. I think there's gonna be some kinks that need to be worked out. But what's y'all first what y'all saw from Dame and Giannis the first time?
Granted, I didn't see the fourth quarter because
I know
Wally's boy wanted to hang out, so I didn't actually see the fourth quarter. But I mean, I think Dame shows you, I guess, the potential of just at least what he came in to do. Now, granted, there were times, especially early on the second quarter, when like Tyrese Maxey went off, I think for 11, where he shows you like, yes, defensively there's going to be some problems, but at the same time, you got to deal with him offensively. And it was just refreshing down the stretch to not see Dame, not Dame, but to not see Giannis fullback dive 4 straight times and just see what happens. So and then obviously it's like for Giannis, I mean, this is obviously the best player you've played with. I love Chris Middleton. I think Chris Middleton has been a great second option for him throughout his career. But Chris Middleton may be heading towards the other side of his career. So depending on him first of all, depending on any level of Chris Middleton, is not depending on Dame Lillard. It does not equal the same, especially this version of Chris Middleton doesn't equal Dame Lillard. Again, I think it's just a great thing for both of them. I mean, Dame obviously is 33 years old. Even seeing the Blazers 2 nights ago without Dame, I'm like, damn, Dame was playing with this.
Exactly.
This, bro. You was playing with this. They was out there trying to kill you, brother. Like now you got, Giannis, even like the pick and roll, like you saw him dumping it down, pick and roll, and just Giannis rolling to the rim and the high screen and roll, and Giannis being used more of as a roller. Like, yeah, I think, I think it looked great. I think this is the team that, especially, I think this is a team that can win 55, 60 games. I don't think it'll take much for them to figure it out. As far as chemistry wise, I don't think it'll take much for them to figure it out. So I think it's a team that could win, like I said, 55 to 60 games this season.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I think now you go from having Chris Middleton as your closer to having Dame Lillard as your closer, and so that takes your game to a completely different level. And Dame last night was Dame, the Dame we see all the time. I think outside, I think a lot of people don't acknowledge it, but when you really sit down and look at it, like outside of Steph, he probably is the second best shooting point guard right now in the game. And so with everything he's able to do on the court, and you add that to a team with Giannis, it's gonna be nice. They look unstoppable, and then you're gonna have nice like this night where they come back in the fourth quarter and take a game that they probably should have lost and they end up winning. And so now we always talked about they're trying to foul Giannis in the fourth quarter. That's dead now because you got not only Middleton but you have Dame, who I think he was perfect with from the free throw line, but just an amazing shooter, an amazing closer on that team, and that's gonna make them like tough to beat.
Yeah, Pav definitely called me out. I did not watch the whole game yesterday, but I did actually circle back today. We were definitely drinking yesterday when the game was on. But from what I saw, with Dame, I liked what I saw. That's what you're gonna get from Dame Lillard. I like what he said in the post game about Giannis and the coach, Adrian Griffin, telling him that they want him to take charge of what he wants to do with the basketball. Pretty much letting him play point guard and figure out what he wants to do in these situations. And I feel like that's what they're gonna be. That's what they've missed more than anything. I know everybody talks about the defense. And defense, you're going to lose without Drew Holiday. I get that. But in today's NFL, I said NFL, it was kind of the same thing in NFL. In today's kind of sports, really, if you take about NBA, NFL, it's about points. Like, if you just have an okay defense, you'll be fine. So they might not be top 10 defense like they've been the last couple of years, but their offense is going to get better just by default. And so if they can stay in like the 13 to like 15 range, I think they'll be good. And as far as Chris, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. I think with Chris Middleton, like, you really, whatever you give him Chris Middleton at this point is good because I think he is as cooked as he's probably going to be right now. I don't think the Chris Middleton of old that you got the year they won doing the championship, I think that guy is gone because of injuries and things like that. I think it's more than anything is going to be what's the bench going to do, what's the coaching going to do, because I still think there's a lot of question marks on that Milwaukee Bucks bench. I even looked at the starting lineup and I was like, Malik Beasley starting. Like, there's going to be some additions during the trade deadline and, probably doing waiver wire. I think will help the team out. But just off night one, I liked what I saw from Dame. He came in towards the end of the fourth quarter, heated up, got them to where they need to be to win that game and had a big fourth quarter. And that's what you want. And like you said, Pav, you didn't have Giannis doing, fullback dive, trying to get to the basket. There was a lot of nasty offense we've seen from the Bucks these last 2 years that really showed how much they needed Dame. So I think that for the first game, I think it was great, but definitely there's a lot more to go from here. But Pat, what were you saying about the defense?
It's just like a statistic. Like, I don't think any team in a very long time has won a championship without having at least top 10 defense and a top 10 offense. So they still need to have a top 10 defense. And I think they still will have a top 10 defense. You do have Giannis, who, again, now he don't have to score 35 points to win certain games. Like last night, he scored 23 and had 13 rebounds. I don't know how many blocks and steals he had, but he had 23 and had 13 rebounds. And from what I did from what I did see, he was the primary defender, or he took the challenge of guarding Embiid a lot. I think that's what you need more from Giannis. Like, Giannis needs to go back more into defensive player of the year mode. Because again, like I said, you like Dame scored 39. He can do that shit every night. He averaged 32 last season. Now, granted, I know he missed the last 25 games, but I think that was more of just Portland wanting to lose games besides like outside of like Dame just not being able to play. He averaged the most points he's ever averaged in life last season. So like, you have a guy who can go out and get you 30 every night. Maybe, you need to be the 25, 13 and 2 guy. And also I think the thing that you can't discount with Dame is, like, I don't want to say I've never heard, but I feel like I've never heard Milwaukee as loud as it was yesterday. I think the energy that Dame gives to the crowd just by his shooting and by his play style was something that can't be discounted And might be something that might serve huge for them in the playoffs, especially like, you know, when you get like series, like game, like a pivotal game 5, and Dame comes down and shoots a 33-footer, like what they just does for the crowd and does for the energy of the team, I think can't be discounted.
Yeah, it definitely had like a playoff vibe. You can definitely see it was a playoff vibe up in there, man. So I definitely think that'll help. Dante, what you think about everything you saw?
Yeah, no, bro. I mean, again, at the end of the day, like I said, adding a player like Dame to a team that already has won the championship, it just takes it to a next level. And Milwaukee, that crowd, that stadium, like stadiums like that are like, they go into my theory that like for a lot of basketball teams, it's better off to have just 2 rings. You know, it gives it a much rowdier college-like atmosphere in the building. I know, you know, the larger arenas like the Garden, United Center, Staples, they all got 3 rings. But that was just more so because those teams are, you know, major attractions. But for a stadium like that in Milwaukee, like I said, those are perfect. And so, like, I'm, you know, excited for the Clippers' new stadium because they got 2 rings. But, you know, everything you saw last night, like you said, that type of atmosphere is going to be there, I feel like, every night now. And so that's going to be a team that come playoff time, you're not going to want to go there to play.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about the Knicks, like there's a 3 rings, but you can during the playoffs, if you have a good TV nigga or a good sound system, you feel like you sitting in the Garden. Like that's how damn loud it be in the fucking Garden, man. Let's talk about the team that is the main team out here in Los Angeles. That is the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers won last night 100-95 over Kevin Durant and a whole bunch of Ralph Baggers.
Don't do that. Don't do
Ralph
that.
Baggers. Let's be real. It's Ralph Baggers.
Don't
Ralph
do that.
Baggers. Name the start lineup for last night.
I have no idea who the point guard
was.
I actually don't know who I can tell you. No, it's probably Grayson Allen, Josh Okogie, Kevin Durant, Nurk, but I don't know who the other person was. Who was the starting point guard last night?
I think I'm finna look at this shit right now. I think it was Eric Gordon, wasn't it?
That makes somebody easy. Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, Josh Okogie, and Nurk.
Yeah, it was Kevin Durant, Josh Okogie, Nurkic, Eric Gordon, and Grayson Allen.
Okay, yeah exactly.
Okay, Kevin Durant and the Durantettes. That's who played last night. KD had 39 points, man. He had 11 rebounds. On the Lakers side, LeBron played the entire fourth quarter, had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Anthony Davis had 30 and 12. My question to y'all is, because we just saw what AD did on Wednesday. It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday where he goes out there and he has 17 points in the first half. Then you don't see this nigga score for the rest of the fucking game. The question here is, do they have an AD problem? Because I kind of feel like LeBron James' minutes shouldn't matter this much this late in his fucking career. And I know he went up there and he said the right things last night about we don't give a shit about what, you know. Yeah, you're doing that because you're a good teammate. You're looking out for your squad. But there's a problem. Like LeBron was like, you might not have retired, but you thought about retirement for like 2 seconds because you get tired of carrying this nigga after y'all got swept by the fucking Nuggets. And what you also can't do after, you know, Nuggets talk shit all summer, rightfully so. If you win a championship, you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's what comes with winning a championship. Then y'all in the media day tomorrow, well, you know, you talking a little bit, but me and Bron been having conversations, and we think it's going to be interesting next time we play him. LeBron did what he's supposed to do during the time he was allowed to play on Tuesday. What the fuck were you doing? And it's not a matter of talent. What pisses me off about AD is the talent is there. Like, if AD actually plays the way he's supposed to play every goddamn night, this wouldn't be an issue. So my question, I'm gonna go with Pat first. What do you think is the issue with Anthony Davis?
Here's what I'll say.
Is this ever gonna change?
Anthony Davis, I want to see all 3 of y'all faces as we speaking. I personally want to see faces. The thing about Anthony Davis is man's like last night he had 30 and 12. He had 30 and 12, I think 3 steals and 3 blocks. The issue is, brother, you built a team like that since LeBron has come to the Lakers, everything has been to help LeBron James. No matter what we want to say, now maybe we may be expecting Anthony Davis to supplant himself as whatever, but still everything has been to help LeBron James. When you build a team around a 39-year-old superstar, that's why his minutes matter so much. You build a team around it, like they don't have a backup point guard. The backup point guard is literally LeBron James. They actually low-key don't have a point guard. They have D'Angelo Russell, who is a combo guard, Austin Reeves, who is a shooting guard, combo guard. They have Gabe Vincent, who is a combo guard. When you saw Anthony Davis have his most success, who did he have? Please tell me. Rajon Rondo. You had a bona fide one of the from the past 15 years of the NBA. Rondo was probably, I think we can all agree, if we talk about a point guard, probably a top 5, maybe if you don't agree top 5, definitely top 10 point guard of the past 15 years in NBA history.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's top 5, top 15. So like you built the team around LeBron James, but we asked Anthony Davis to go to go superhuman. Like he's not a guy who's AD is not a guy who's going to get his own offense consistently. He needs help to get his own offense. Now, defensively is my thing with AD. Defensively, every night, AD should go out there and dominate. And when he doesn't do that, then I have issues. But offensively, I don't think. And then Darvin Ham say, I want AD to shoot 6 threes. The fuck is wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with you? What? When was he a good 3-point shooter? When did this happen? Have you seen something? Has he seen something in El Segundo that I haven't seen? So like I don't think you have an AD problem. You have the issue of you built the team around a 38-year-old superstar. So when you build it, and I love LeBron, favorite player ever, my GOAT. Shout out my man's Bron, but he's 38. When you build a team around a 38-year-old superstar, that's why his minutes matter so much.
I mean,
yeah. No.
What's your take on that, Dante?
Yeah, no, he's right. Like the team has never been built around Anthony Davis, and then we asked Anthony Davis to do these things. And also, I think with the game against Denver, yeah, I understand he didn't score at all in the second half, and that is unacceptable. But we take for granted what he does on the defensive end of the floor and the amount of energy he exerts on the defensive side of the ball. And so, like, yeah, I want to see him do more in those games like that. And but also, that's game 1, so I'm not tripping the same way everybody else is about that. Like, if this was fucking game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, then yeah, I would be like, all right, bro, defensive issues aside, you got to give me more. But I don't think there's an AD issue. I think, like I said, like Pavy said, you built this team around LeBron James, not Anthony Davis. So it's going to come to certain moments where it's not going to work out in his favor because it's just not built to. So I think, they can overcome that because he is a great player. And that's up to Darvin Ham. Like you said, him saying he wants him to shoot 6 threes is not conducive to Anthony Davis being his best. We've seen him at his best, and that's not it. He's not a good 3-point shooter. And when we see him force the issue and shooting threes like that, the Lakers are usually losing those games. So I agree with Pavy. I don't think it's a AD problem. It's just more the foundation around him.
In about 5 minutes, we're gonna bring Courtney on to talk baseball. So we're gonna about 5 minutes. She has a rant she's gonna get off. I'm really looking forward to it in about 5 minutes. But I'm gonna say this about Anthony Davis. Both of y'all give good points. But yes, they didn't build the team around him, but also they brought in Anthony Davis, so LeBron can move a little bit back to the background, play the background a little bit, actually play the role of a 39-year-old player. That's what they were expecting to do. I mean, even LeBron said himself during media day, this is Anthony Davis's team. So yes, I agree.
Hold on, Scott G. Bron said that, and then mid-game against Denver asked for more minutes. Which one is it? What are we doing?
That's why, because he know this nigga can't do it.
That's not why. At what point do we realize he just want to do this shit?
Look.
This might just be the way he want to play basketball. He's been used to doing this for 21 years. Yes, LeBron James. Okay. He's been doing this for 21 years. He might want to do it for 22.
I get you, but in order for them to win a championship, I feel like, and we say this every year, and I do believe, yes, having a point guard helps. I'm not going to take that fact away. If they had a Rondo or somebody who was actually a point guard and not D'Angelo Russell, it would help a lot. But just energy-wise, he needs to be more active. Like sometimes AD just be on the court,
Scott,
and he not doing nothing.
Scott, you played basketball before, right?
Yeah, I wasn't good at it, but yeah, I played basketball.
Dante, you played basketball before, right?
Yes.
Have you ever played pickup basketball and didn't get the ball?
No.
I'm saying, have you ever played pickup basketball and just like you didn't feel the ball enough? Pause. Like you didn't like nobody passed you the ball enough.
Oh yeah, depending on the team you on, yeah.
So you were just up there running up and down, right? Just playing.
You pretty much getting up. You running 3 line to 3 line at that point.
How much energy do you have?
Okay, now you comparing it to niggas playing a pickup game to one of the highest paid players in the sport.
No, I'm not, bro. It's like, especially if I'm a big, like if I'm a guard, it's different. I'm dribbling the ball up court. Like if I'm the point guard, I'm dribbling the ball up court. I'm feeling the leather, like I'm feeling good. If I'm a big, I have to depend on somebody else to get me the basketball. If all I'm doing is playing defense and, like you said, running three-point line, I might zone out a couple times. It might happen. Yeah. So and again, when we talk about him having 0 points, a lot of AD was on the court with them Gabe Vincent and fucking Austin Reeves minutes. So basically 2 combo guards who can't get you the ball. So now I saw a lot of AD being at the top of the key, acting like he fucking Jokic, trying to initiate offense through AD, and that's not what he's good at.
I'll say this as we move on. We got to move on. We on a little time crunch today. I will say this about Anthony Davis. They're not winning the fucking championship unless he actually plays the way he needs to play. Because I'm not trying to overreact about game 2 of 82. But if you look at the Western Conference, they beat the Suns last night with just KD out there by himself. Like there was no Bradley Beal, there was no Devin Booker, and they should have won. They should have kicked their ass. And not only did they only win by a couple, they had to come back from like 15 down. So if they want to win a championship, they gonna need Anthony Davis to not be taking games off. And I'm not saying this during a regular season. That's not we looking. We need in the playoffs. And I think last year, for the most part, Anthony Davis had a good postseason. The Nuggets series, I thought AD played well. He just ran up into a brick wall, which just happens to be Nikola Jokic. You can't do nothing about that. But what you can do is shut the fuck up and not be talking shit. And then you get embarrassed on ring night to a nigga who's been arm wrestling cows all summer. Like that's just some shit that I don't want to see from Anthony Davis, man. We're gonna quickly, real quick, and we're gonna get Pav out of here. What's your thoughts on James Harden, man? And we can, if there's anything else you said about James Harden,
the 76ers need to cut their losses, trade the man, because they still have a good basketball team. Like I think you even saw last night. Granted, it's like one game, but they still have a really good basketball team. You still have the MVP. Now, granted, Joel Embiid may feel like James Harden made him the MVP, but whatever. Regardless, you still have a really good basketball team. You have Tyrese Maxey, who I think could take a step this year. You have Kelly Oubre. You have PJ Tucker. You have Paul Reed. Yes, you have other people. There was a certain shooting guard I'm thinking about. I can't think of his name. But you have a good, solid basketball team, bro. If James Harden is going to be a distraction or he's not going to be, fully invested, he's taking up $40 million of your cap. $40 million is 2 players. Like you can at least get 2 players to come in there and making $20 million who can help your basketball team. Like if he's not going to be invested, you got to go out and get what you can, because again, you still have there's still no reason this Philly team can't win 50 games. Why can't they win 50 games? Why can't they be a 2nd or 3rd seed? They don't have to be bad just because this is like they don't have to be that way. And like I said, you still have a MVP in his prime. You have to do everything to maximize that for you, and also it'd be a good business decision for you to maximize that. So my thing with James Harden is like whatever it is, it feels like I don't want to say. I mean, I don't know the man. I have no idea. It feels like he doesn't want to be there, or it may feel like he has worn out his welcome there. You have to go out and get what you can get, and see if you can move on with the season and at least salvage it, because I think you still have a good basketball team.
Yeah, I agree with that. You gotta get what you can, man. I don't know how much you're gonna get from that nigga. You might get like a 6-piece from Harold, some shit, nigga. I don't know, but that nigga's gotta go. I'm tired of James Harden and shit. I'm tired of talking about the nigga like just all together. But we're gonna bring Courtney in, and we're gonna start this new segment. We gonna hold on, Pat. We're gonna let you leave. Yeah, we gonna give proper send off. But I see Courtney was active in the room, and she's getting ready to cut a legendary promo in just a minute. But we're gonna talk baseball in a minute. But Pav, thank you for joining us. For filling in last minute, because had to reshape this whole show today, man. So
I took a break from my day. I
took a break
from my day. I took
a break for the
dogs, for all the dogs, for the dogs.
The king of Wally.
Hello, I've never met you. How are you doing?
Hi.
Nice
the king of Wally's, or the king of Beverly Hills himself.
That's you. You taking. You have my title. You have my title. I don't want to smoke this shit. Wally's had to come like the photo. It was so crazy.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Wally's had to come like the photo.
You taking my title.
Fab, man, always good to holler at you, brother.
My dog.
All right, man. So we're gonna transition to our next topic. Before we get into it, I forgot to do the announcement at the beginning because it's been a random ass day. But for those of you who missed the reel this morning, starting on Friday, I'm not gonna hold you. It's going to be still free, by the way. Still, first hour will be streaming on Barber's Chair Network and HNB Media. So if you, I don't want y'all to think that I'm going full capitalist and putting everything behind a paywall. No, the entire show is still free. The second hour will not be live streamed. The second hour will be uploaded to the Patreon by itself for the Patreon subscribers, but it will still be chopped up in the segments on the YouTube if you want that. This is order for y'all to support. So if you want to support, you can go to patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. We got the link up here right now. You can see for patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. For everybody, you can go up there and just see all different tiers we've got. And so for the $5, I'm not going to hold you tier, you're going to get all 3 shows. I'm going to be doing a Wednesday show now. Will just be me, and I might have a guest every now and then. Basically going to be midweek, 30 to 45 minutes. The audio version of each show will be available on the Patreon. We'll be doing a special one-on-one series with basically me and people in the media and entertainment industry. I'll be interviewing. So the first one's going to be on Tuesday. I'm going to be having my interview with Jonathan Hood of ESPN 1000. That'll be the first episode that'll drop on the Patreon. And pretty much you guys are going to get on-field interviews, on court interviews from games I do, the Clippers and the Bears. So everything is up right now on the Patreon. So you'll get everything you'll get on there, like in more specific detail that you'll see on there, man. And by the way, if you're already a member of the Patreon, if you're on the Barber's Chair All Access, you're all good to go. You have nothing to worry about. You don't have to spend any more money. So that's just basically what it is. If anybody wants to support, $5, I'm not going to hold you till starting on Monday, man. So, yeah, I am now going to give the floor to Courtney because her team is in the World Series. You're going to game 1, correct?
Gang.
Yeah, you're going to game 1. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So we weren't even supposed to be here. I will be the first one to say that I was one of many doubters, but I get a pass, okay, because I have been watching this team since I was alive, okay, and they have hurt me many times. So sue me for maybe being a little cynical, being a skeptic, okay, about this team. This team swept Tampa. They weren't even supposed to get past Tampa. Everybody just kept talking about their powerful arms. They swept them. Then they got past Baltimore, swept them, took the Houston Astros, the big bad Astros, took them to 7. No, we didn't win a game at home. That's okay, because neither did they. Took them to 7, still won in 7. All right. And, all this talk about, the Rangers had to spend, $500 million. Get your money up, broke boys. Get your money up. Also, couple that with the fact that the Rangers still had a payroll that was $12 billion less than the Astros. So what's the disconnect? Get your money up. Get your money up. I don't know what else to tell you.
Get your bread up.
It feels like the goalposts keep moving for teams every year. You got people saying, the Rangers, they're just going to, if they do win, it doesn't matter because all they did was beat the Diamondbacks. Like the Diamondbacks didn't just beat the NL Central and the NL West champs, right, to get to this spot. Like they didn't just beat the Philadelphia Phillies and not only come back from a 2-0 deficit, they won the last 2 in Citizens Bank Park, which everybody's been hyping up all season. Oh, that's the only place in baseball with home field advantage. Man, fuck out of here. They are really dancing on their own now on the way to Cancun. Au revoir.
1, 2, 3 Cancun. 1, 2, 3 Cancun for them.
That's all I got. That's really all I got right now. Rangers in 5 is me being optimistic. I'm hoping that it's only 5 because my birthday is next Saturday and I don't need game 7 stress on my 29th birthday. So
shout out to I'm gonna do a real zodiac thing. Shout out to all the Scorpios real quick. So this is for all y'all who care about shit like that. Dante's muted. I see Dante was gonna say something.
I said, this nigga, you gotta be kidding me.
Shout out to all them. But yeah, I mean, and let's get into the series. I see a lot of people out there who are not big baseball fans. And I see this in a whole bunch of sports. We've seen this with the NBA Finals. Like, well, I don't want to see the Nuggets and the Heat. There's a lot of people when the Philadelphia Phillies got eliminated, they were like, oh, well, I don't want to watch the Diamondbacks. Do you feel this series is going to be bad for the casual viewer? Do you think this is going to be like some of the lowest ratings we've ever seen for a World Series? Or do you think there's going to shockingly is going to be more actual, participation?
Personally, I think that I don't expect, some record-breaking, earth-shattering. I mean, objectively speaking, the Diamondbacks, it's not a giant market, right? Of course, it's not expected to draw the same kind of ratings as a New York team or a Chicago team. I know Phoenix itself is a big market, but like no one's like, oh, let me go tune into that Diamondbacks-Dodgers game. Like no one has said that since like 2018, maybe, right? So I just think it's unfair to the Diamondbacks who, like I said, just beat 3 very, very good teams to get here. Don't rook them just because their payroll was under $70 million this year. Some real Moneyball ass baseball, but hey, the format, the playoff format and the postseason format was set up in this way. And if you don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you. Beat them. That's really all it comes down to. Is it good for the casual fan? Why not? Who doesn't love an underdog story?
Yeah, Dante, what you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I know we talk about the casual fan a lot, but I think the Dallas market is big enough to where the ratings will be okay. Still having that one Texas team in there. But it's one of those things where we talk about this in every sport where people fall in love too much with narratives and big markets and all that other shit where you should really just be appreciating the baseball. You have a clash of philosophies here. You have, like you said, one of the lowest payrolls in baseball and then one of the highest payrolls in baseball. You have a team in the Rangers who I think was second overall in the home runs. You have a team in the Diamondbacks who led all teams in stolen bases. So, you got a team that's built on speed and defense versus a power team that spent the bread that we always talk about teams doing. And so for me, I'm excited about it. You got, Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, who hasn't been on shit, but we'll talk about that later. But one of the best middle infields in baseball, going to the World Series. And the Rangers are a team that, this is their first time in Courtney, when was the last time they went to the World Series?
2011.
2011. So we always talk.
Don't ask me how I know. Game 6. Yeah, Game 6. David Freese, that walk-off home run in the bottom of the and we'll see you tomorrow night is burned in the back of my freaking brain.
That was sick.
I need a palate cleanser. Me and Joe Buck still got me.
Right, because the way he called the home run, that's why he got people.
Correct. To this day, I was 16 and I went to bed and I cried. No joke. Like, that Stewie gift. Oh, guess I should get some sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel I was definitely 22, 2000, 22, 2023.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. That was ugly. That was ugly. That was ugly.
I mean, I think I think that's one thing the playoffs is missing right now is Joe Buck, and his calls make you want to jump off a building. Like everybody talks about Mike Breen's bang, but when Joe Buck does the it's going back, gone, and like you think there's hope that the ball might drop. Like that's the kind of thing we've been missing from this postseason.
I don't need that. Actually.
No, that was the first thing I thought about. With Garcia's home run, like how Joe Buck would have called this? Like,
he'd have went crazy.
Joe is one of those guys, man. Like as much as people hate Joe Buck, but like you gotta admit, bro. I don't get it. And when it comes to baseball, I really don't get it. Like baseball, like the moments that he's called,
talented. It's just that his voice is etched into my brain permanently because of the times in which he did make these calls that hurt me. David Freese, I'm a Dodgers fan too. Y'all know that. David Freese joined the Dodgers, and it took me like
a long time,
8 months to forgive him.
Yeah, you know who me and Scott can compare this to, just to get on the same plane as you. With your man holding on to his knee and down, Kevin Harlan. I'll never forgive him for that. Like that's one of those moments when D Rose went down and he didn't do nothing wrong. But you'll never forget that. You'll never forget that moment.
There's a couple calls like you got. We just named Joe Buck. There's Mike Breen. Bang! That bang when Carmelo hit that Easter 3-point. Nigga, my Easter was ruined.
Yeah.
On luau day.
Yeah, my Easter was. My grandmother was like, "Why you don't want to eat?" I'm like, "You not to see what
I'm not even hungry no more.
Yeah, I'm not hungry no more. I had to
the
see
double
all
bang?
the New Yorkers.
Man.
Yeah, the double bang. Oh my god. Or it's a
Honestly,
very
I
underrated
think that probably ruined me on basketball for a while because I can't take that kind of
bang, bang. Like no,
a shotgun
the Kevin
blast.
Harlan. No, the Kevin Harlan has an underrated one. He's like, and the lead is double digits. Like that make you really sick too. that would make you sick too.
Let me put this shit on mute, man.
Yeah. But as far as like the casual thing, to me, I'm gonna say fuck casuals, and I say that with anything, not just with sports. And I'm somebody where if I'm invested in anything, whether it's sports or movie or music, I want to know everything about it. So I don't 100% understand casuals. And let's be real, it's the MLB. Casual people probably weren't gonna watch that goddamn series any motherfucking way. Let's be 100% real about it. They would have probably watched a couple games. Maybe if there was like a game 1, maybe if there was a game 7, they might watch, but I don't think that matters at all right now. I think these are two teams that have two really good stories, two teams who found a way to rebuild to get themselves back up here. I mean, you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks. I didn't expect them to be in. They were just my quote-unquote league pass team that I've been watching because Mikey told us early in the year you need to check the Diamondbacks out. There's no way I expected them to make it to the actual World Series. This is a team that haven't made a World Series since 2001. We all remember that legendary 2001 World Series between them and the New York Yankees. It was freshly after 9/11. It kind of felt like the Yankees had that mojo going because people forget about that Yankee team. They really slumped their way into that 2001 postseason. You know, 9/11 happened, and it's like they really put the city on their back, and it just didn't matter against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's the first time ever in my life I've seen Mariano Rivera fold in a clutch situation. And so that, to me, was that's the last time we've seen them. It's been 22 years. Now they're back. You just named everything that happened in 2011 World Series with the Rangers. Now they're back. And the one thing that I do like is, you know, you've got the way that the Diamondbacks have built up, like through the draft, through trades and like that. But you also got the Rangers who've gone out there and they've spent money as well as drafting and make the right trades. So I kind of feel like it's two philosophies going head to head. And if you're a fan of baseball, I think you're going to love this series. Now, I don't really think that I would be worrying about the casuals so much, but that's just me.
Correct. Thank you. I agree.
Let's talk about. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no. I just don't like the narrative that all the Rangers did was spend money to get to where they got. You know, that was some good front officing. 100%.
Something that me and Dante know nothing about as Chicago White Sox.
I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. What are you talking about?
Hey, them niggas went outside too.
Lost, not me.
They lost. But I mean, we talking about front offices. I didn't see a good one, brother.
Okay, that's true. There's no. I'm gonna go a bit further. There's not one good front office in Chicago. Period.
I agree with that.
I could have drafted Connor Bedard, nigga. It don't take a fucking rocket scientist.
Yeah. Sidney Crosby fall in your lap. It's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, like, come on, dog. The nigga, an agent went to his mama when he was 7 years old. Like, Ray Charles can see that shit. So I'm not giving the Blackhawks anything for that. But let's talk about like X factors coming into this series. Like, what do you think will be like the X factor for both of these teams to actually win this series?
Court, you want to kick it off?
I mean, beyond the pitching, which tonight especially is kind of like a feel it out kind of game for me because Nate Eovaldi Nathan. He doesn't like being called Nate. He is coming off of
Big Nathan.
Big game Nate, but like he doesn't like being called Nate. He likes to be called Nathan. Anyhow, he is coming off 4 days rest, whereas Zach Gallen did get 5 days rest. And for a guy in Eovaldi who was coming off an injury, it might make a difference. Maybe if like you're a sports veteran into things like that, all those little subtle nuances that kind of build on top of each other. For someone like this who has kind of been battle tested and battle born through playoffs, I'm a Dodger fan, so I definitely remember the 2018 World Series where that man threw 9 shutout innings of baseball in that 18-inning game, the longest baseball game in World Series history. I remember that, and I know that was a few years ago, but I still think that he's more than capable of delivering in the moment. And would I be shocked if the Rangers dropped this game? Not necessarily, but I think the offense could step up. I think the X factor, though, again, beyond pitching, is the catcher spot for both teams. If you can get Jonah Heim continue to go right now, he's batting 245, 2 home runs, 6 RBI in the postseason. Gabriel Moreno, which I don't know if y'all remember, was acquired by Toronto in that Dalton Varsho trade. Diamondbacks fans, livid. Okay, that's also how they got Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who is also someone to watch in this series. But no, Moreno's batting 279, 3 home runs, 9 RBI, and even Garver, who traditionally is a catcher, right? But he's been in the DH spot because he's, getting a little rusty. He's batting 294, 2 home runs, 11 RBI this postseason. So if you can get those those 2 guys, for me personally, for the Rangers, I preferred if Moreno didn't get going. If you can keep them hot, that's the X factor for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. For me, like I mentioned him earlier, Marcus Semien. I know it's hard to call a guy, who's that big of a player at X Factor, but he was 1 for 9 against Tampa. He was 3 for 14 against Baltimore, and he was 6 for 29 against the Astros. He hasn't hit a homer, hasn't stolen the base, hasn't been the Marcus Semien we've known him to be. So, if he can break out of this slump, I think that can do a lot for this team, because you see the way the Rangers have been able to win games this year with their this postseason with their offense, and this is without him being the major contributor that we know he is. And on the other side with the D-backs, Christian Walker, their first baseman, he really struggled against the Phillies. He was let me see, what was he?
Not
he
good.
was he was 2 for 22. So, he was not good. Didn't hit a homer. He hit a homer against the Dodgers, but that power that he has given to that lineup, we haven't seen it. And so, if he can be that boost with Marte and everybody else in that lineup, Tommy Pham is a really streaky guy, but if Tommy can get hot, he was hitting the ball hard against the Phillies, but he did make a lot of outs. He hit a home run in the game 6. But if he can get hot, I think this is going to be a surprisingly good series. Like we say, sneaky good. This is going to be a series that we look back on and be like, yo, this was some really good baseball that we saw.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that, it's, to me, it can go either way. I think this could be a very quick series for the Rangers, and I think this could be something that can get drawn out more, and that's something that the Rangers don't want. My X factor is actually Zach Gallen, because he did not have a good NLCS. The Phillies had their way with him pretty much. And I feel like if he goes out there and pitches like the ace that they need him to be, this can be a long series, because then you can have him go out there and get you like a game 1 and things like that. And so I feel like if he steps up to the plate and does what he needs to do, this will be a very long series, man. So I'm going to go with Zach as, my X factor, man. Let's get into predictions. I know Courtney's actually going to the game, so I want we're going to get up out of here. Courtney, you said you got Rangers in 5, right?
Rangers in 5, baby. But if I'm being a realist and not just a fan,
put on your media hat.
Rangers in 7. It was always Rangers in 7.
Okay.
I'm actually going the other way. I'm going Diamondbacks in 7.
Diamondbacks in 7. Okay.
I'm going D-backs in 7. I think he's really one of those.
Don't you want me to be happy?
Of course. I mean, if you all would get one, I would love it. Like, my team, my other team now, I've denounced all Jerry Reinsdorf on organizations, but my other team hasn't won one in a while. So it would be nice for the Rangers to get one. But I do think the Diamondbacks, the way they battled back, they limped into the playoffs, but they've been, like you said, they beat 3 really good teams to get here. And I think at the end of the day, with the pitching they have, with the streaky offense, this is going 7, folks. Like, this is going to go 7, and I'm going D-backs in 7.
I am going to go with the Texas Rangers. I'm going with the Rangers in 6. I think that Zach Gallen will bounce back. I think he will be the X factor. Matter of fact, I think the Diamondbacks are going to steal game 1, but I do think that the Rangers will this will be one of those, and I don't even know if it's going to be like a 2-2 type 6-game series. It might be one of those 3-1s, and they just don't clinch in game 5. But I do think this will be a 6-game series, and I think the Texas Rangers will be the World Series champions, and Courtney will celebrate on the show. That is my prediction for what's going to happen with this series.
On here. I don't know what if it happens. I'm just letting you know now.
That it's going to go down.
Yep. That's all I got. Yeah, it's going to go down.
Well, game 1 kicks off tonight. Courtney's on the way over there, so we're gonna give you can sign off. Let everybody know, what you got going on.
I mean, listen, there was a lot of talk this whole season, especially after the All-Star break. A lot of folks were saying, "Damn, Rangers spent all that money, were so good to start the season. They were supposed to run away with the division, then lost, got swept, or actually nearly swept by the Mariners, messed up the division all over again. You know, weren't supposed to be Tampa, weren't supposed to be Baltimore, definitely weren't supposed to be Houston. You know, we woke them up, right? Weren't supposed to beat them. And everybody kept saying to me, gosh, Courtney, what are you going to do if the Rangers don't do it this year? I guess we'll never know.
Oh, shotgun beer. Still going crazy.
No. Let's go. Let's go, Rangers. Rangers in 5, baby. Let's go.
Rangers in 5.
Let's go.
We hope that you have a great time at the game tonight. We will holler at you next week. You know, World Series moves fast. Game 2 is tomorrow, so this series will be already in Game 3 by next time we get up on here. So
Monday, I'm trying to go to Arizona.
Monday. See, you trying to try? I feel you. And the White Sox never be in the World Series again, so I'll never have a opportunity to do that.
Not in your lifetime.
Yeah, not in my lifetime. I always have
maybe the Nashville White Sox, but not these guys.
The Nashville White Sox. All right, Courtney, we'll holler at you next week.
Peace and blessings. Let's go, Rangers.
So we're going to have my brother Flows join in just a minute. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the legend that is Dusty Baker, who decided to retire this week. Let's talk about like the legacy, you know, of Dusty Baker, man.
Man, bro, I mean, this is literally one of the greatest resumes that we've ever seen. You're talking about a guy who Hank Aaron was his mentor, so he's played against some of the greatest. You know, we know his relationship with Bobby Bonds. You know, he managed Barry Bonds. You know, for years they always said he couldn't win the big one, and for him to finally win the big one last year, I really wanted him to go out last year, to go out on top. I felt like it was one of those moments where that would have been the perfect thing. But I understand, you know, the competitive nature. You know, having one as a player, one as a manager now, it's like, okay, let's see if I can go get number 2. And unfortunately, he didn't get there, made it to another ALCS. But again, at the end of the day, we're talking about one of the greatest contributors to baseball culture as a whole. And that's, you know, we're fortunate that he is a black man, but that's anybody that's ever, you know, stepped in between those lines. There's not too many that are better than Dusty Baker, man. Like, so, you know, we got to witness him in Chicago. That's one of the few times where I actually was tuned in to the Cubs when he was the manager. The things he did with Sammy, he overcame everything they always said about him. Oh, he you know, can't run a bullpen, can't do this, can't do that. Dusty makes bad decisions. It was ironic he lost the Game 7 on the way out. Like, that was kind of a, you know, chef's kiss on things. But overall, you know, it's nothing but love for Dusty. And, you know, we were fortunate to, you know, say we saw Dusty Baker.
Yeah, man, I got to give up to Dusty. I always felt like Dusty got, like, you know, the wrong end of the stick here in Chicago because of, like, how everything ended. Stuff that wasn't completely, you know, in his control, man. But I'm glad that he was able to get a championship before he got up out of here. I think that was a big, you know, mark on his career is can Dusty win the whole thing. So to be able to come into a team that was already established, a team that was going through a lot of turmoil with the cheating things going on. And I wouldn't say he cleaned the image up or anything. There's still a lot of people who still don't like the fucking Astros, and, you know, people still have that negative light on them. But it kind of gave them a little bit more respect back because of how Dusty carries himself. And like you said, this is a guy who he's a legend. He's been around for a long, long time, man. So I feel like salute to Dusty. You know, he went out there and won what he needed to do, took care of what he needed to do. You know, like you said, he's been in the game. And I love to see black managers at that get the love that they're supposed to get, man. So